Hi guys, it's Laura at Sheer Passion. Thanks for tuning in. It's such a beautiful day outside. You can see how much sunlight is coming in the French doors. I love to hear the birds chirp. I was at the gym today, and like what normally happens, we get into conversations with lots of different people about lots of different things. But one thing that keeps consistently coming up is the presidential election. And that's great. Let's talk about some of the things that we do as Americans when we're voting for the president. I kind of want to give you the background of how my mind works on this subject, because it's very irritating for me to constantly hear people call things out, but not always take responsibility for the thought process behind it. So some of the things that I've kind of related to as I grew up, I shared with you that I had moved out at a young age, at the age of 18. And I was forced out of the home and given ultimatums. And I've learned that even some of the greatest people on the planet don't always go about things the right way. And just because we have faith, or we're Christian, or we're parents, or we have businesses, that we're not always accountable to other people. And it's really tough in our country because accountability, most of the time, you see accountability or an accountability partner with somebody that you like something in them. So they either run their home cleaner than you run yours. They either run their bank account with more money in it than your own. They're either older, so you assume they're wiser. But there's a lot of things that you have to go through to figure those things out, like ask specific questions. How do you handle your home when there's disarray in it? How do you handle your money, and do you build wealth? What do you consider wealth? You're older, but how did you become wiser? Tell me all of the lessons that you have gone through so that you understand when you run out and you talk to somebody out there, that you can actually help them understand how to be better. So some of the things that I take into consideration is what I had to deal with when I was 18 years old. I had to take responsibility for getting to bed on time so that I could get up the following day, start my job, accumulate money, time for money, so that I could save that money, pay my rent, buy things that I needed like food, insurances, gas in my car to go out, clothing to wear, a cell phone so I could text or call my friends and family. The president never called me to get up to do those things. I had to actually take the responsibility from the moment that I put my head to the pillow and getting up the following morning. I had to take responsibility for my entire being, the way I feed myself, the way I bought the food. How did I pay for it? Did I put it on credit, or did I require myself to take that initial responsibility and pay for the food out of my cash that I had? See, a lot of times when we talk about the presidency, what is it that you want the president to do for you? Because Americans have lost sight of taking care of themselves. And once again, it goes back to rational thinking. How is it that when we hear a president say something that we don't like, are we quick to think, well, what have I done over the years that I say or do that people don't like? Can you relate to someone like Hillary? Can you relate to someone like Donald Trump? See, these are the things that should be coming up in our minds of why we do or we don't like something. Here's a bigger question. When do we choose to believe the media? I believe the media never. Because I have found, and I've done my own research on what comes over social media or what comes through the media itself on television, that we cannot trust because of the way they are syndicated. So they already know what's going to be said on the television, and somebody else has already decided how much of that they can or can't say. That's fine, but then I think we should all understand that. Now, why is it that lots of people who sit down and touch the button to turn the television on are going to be fed only truth coming through the screen? You won't be. You're going to have to look for it. You're going to have to research it, which requires you, again, you could be married, but it doesn't mean that if one spouse goes and does the research that spouse doesn't need to communicate it to the other person. There must be blood, sweat, and tears in finding the truth, because truth requires you to sift through the lies. It requires you to take action. Why do I believe that? Well, because it goes back to being relational. And since my job is to have a relationship with Jesus Christ, my job is to have a relationship with myself so that I can truly understand what it is like to be a full human being, taking full responsibility from everything to eating, sleeping, working, all of those things before I expect a government. A government was created because people wouldn't do that. See, people wouldn't do that for themselves, so we created government. That's okay too. That's not so much the problem. The problem is that we allow it to get away. I really want to encourage us to take the time out to love ourselves, to really rationally think. When do we believe the media? And why now? Why when it comes to the presidential debates? Why when it comes to the presidential elections? Why are we believing the snippets that they put out? If you saw my husband and I during a fight in our relationship and chose to believe that in that time of passion or anger or louder words said, that is how we are all the time, then you would be irrational. Because being passionate or being angry or irritated or frustrated about a certain situation doesn't mean that the two people don't come down off of that high. But that's a rational thought. It's also a rational thought to believe that human beings actually have to go through emotional highs and lows to grow. See, my muscles at the gym have to go through highs and lows to actually get stronger. And as a human being, I have to go through highs and lows of emotion, sometimes a little bit of anger and frustration to really develop who I am, to truly understand the boundaries of things that frustrate me, so that I can then take full responsibility in the future for what I will and won't allow myself to get involved in or to participate in with others. I made lots of mistakes in my 20s, and that's okay. It's just different when I get into my 30s. So I think we need to be very careful when we claim something about our soon-to-be presidents or presidential electees that they either get high or low with something and we don't really like that. Well, I don't really like it when my husband and I get frustrated or fight, but I've learned it's par for the course in any kind of relationship. And I think my Heavenly Father would say it's been par for the course with me that I've been frustrated or I've been irritated that things haven't gone my way. It's just a real relationship. A relationship is a constant evolving wheel with the person that you're in the relationship with. That includes being in one with yourself, which means you have to truly understand that when you're looking at other people on the television or maybe just out in life, that they're going to be in those moments. But the difference is when they come out of them, you should be able to ask them rational questions and thoughts should come out about the lessons that were learned there. Hey, Laura, what did you learn with your fights with Joshua? Oh, tons. You just don't let anything fester. And our fights are very different based on my personality. I deal with the situation right then and there. I don't actually take another step forward until we have a plan of action. You would say I'm one tough broad. I would say I'm one of the smartest out there because I'm not taking that into tomorrow. If it's not working for today, I'm not taking that into tomorrow. And you better believe that's how I run my life. You know, I've never gotten a phone call from the president. Hey, Laura, it is time to get up and go to work there, sweet cheeks. You got to go earn $1. No, see, I've done that for myself. See, I man myself enough to know that the president has never gotten involved in anything that I've done, but it was more my job to know what they were getting involved with so that I could vote yes or no on that, but that they've never actually made sure that I take care of my body. They've never made sure that I've been kind to others. They've never made sure that I pay my mortgage on time, that I pay my bills, that I do not rack up debt, that I'm not going into depression, or that I'm getting my second divorce. The government doesn't deal with all of those things. That's for us to deal with, and it should be. The government is involved in too much to begin with. That is why we are starting to believe in this media. The media. Just because the media says something doesn't mean that it's true. You would still have to ask questions, whether you asked them to Google or not, whether you asked them to people who met them, whether you went to researching or went to rallies to actually ask them to their face, or went to your own senators or your small governments. You would need to start getting involved. It would require action on your side, not sitting down with popcorn and watching the television. If everyone can do that, that's what the devil uses to tear down. See, everyone can take action, but that requires something from us. And I've learned people don't normally like that. People don't normally like sweat equity when it causes them to get up, turn something off, and go do something. It doesn't change the facts, though. The government is not going to make sure that we are being the best person that we can be. You cannot be in a relationship with anyone else until you relate to yourself. Therefore, I would find it hard to vote for anyone worth voting for unless you know what is required of yourself to make sure that you are a good person in society. The president is not going to make all of your dreams come true. How in the world would he do that? You can make your dreams come true. It's a constant relationship that is moving forward every day with you, your faith, and others around you. Until you have that solidly down, I believe we're voting based on what we think we're going to get. See, the problem about that is you already know what you do get when you take your feet, you take your mind, and you get out that door and you go work hard for it. Please rethink some of the things that you say because it feels good to be focused on somebody else like Hillary or Donald Trump. How about we start focusing on us and see what we can do while we're not pointing the finger about something that they're not doing? They cannot take your joy away from you. If you don't have any to begin with, that's where you should start. Voting for a president is a privilege. We need to find something positive in that, and we have complete control over what we're doing. Let me leave you with that encouragement for this week. Think positively about the relationship that you have with yourself. When you're getting up every day, what are you working for? What are you pushing yourself for? How are you relating to yourself? How are you dealing with your thoughts? Are you asking questions? Are you being emotionally sound? Do you have a smile on your face? That's what I wish for you. Have a great week, guys. I'll talk to you soon. Don't forget to check out the blog, SHEER Passion 2, the number 2 blog at blogspot.com. Sheer Passion 2 blog at blogspot.com. See you next week. Bye.